Did you ever think you'd be selling Chinese cars?
No, but when you see the growth and the quality of the product, it's phenomenal.
Are you saying that the Chinese Communist Party can control those cars and have them go crashing into things all day long?
The issue is, are we going to allow those Chinese EVs that are in Canada to roll into the United States?
China is miles ahead of the rest of the world.
Today we are reacting to Fox Business and Gordon Chang rambling about how EVs from China are going to crash or spy on everyone. But also, stick to the end of the video, I have a small surprise for those who enjoy Gordon Chang being the joke of the room. But before we begin, if you enjoy this kind of content, please subscribe. The support is very much appreciated.
Justin Watson
it's like a throne.
is a customer.
Literally like a throne. It's like royalty. And, you know, you're greeted by this beautiful screen.
He's trading in his Lexus for a BYD, which stands for Build Your Dreams. It's a Chinese car company you won't really find in the US, but which overtook Tesla last year as the world's top seller of fully electric vehicles.
Do you remember what Elon Musk said when BYD was emerging as a competitor?
As you're familiar with, BYD, which is also on the West Coast, I think they're ramping up production of their electric vehicles. Warren Buffett owns 10% stake in that. Why do you laugh? BYD is trying to compete. Why do you laugh?
Have you seen their car?
I have seen their cars, yes. In fact, at the Berkshire Hathaway meeting, I saw their cars.
Yeah.
Well, they are on a different, tell me why you're laughing. You don't see them at all as a competitor?
No.
Why is that? I mean, they offer a lower price point.
I don't think they have a great product.
Why is that?
I don't think it's particularly attractive. The technology is not very strong. And BYD as a company has pretty severe problems in their home turf in China.
Right.
So I think their focus is, and rightly should be, on making sure they don't die in China.
BYD has been so successful because it started life as a battery company. So it owns the whole supply chain before the car. It's able to produce batteries very cheaply, and it's been exporting them all over the world.
But interestingly, you won't see a BYD on the roads in the US, at least not many of them.
Not unless you pay a significant price, no.
From the perspective of American automakers, how important, how valuable is a tariff like this on Chinese EVs?
Well, I think they see it as very important, but whether or not it's the best thing for them, I think is arguable. If you stifle innovation and if you stifle competition and you stop there from being a free and open market, then actually markets stop delivering what they should do, which is good products at good cost to consumers.
Isn't it saving jobs, at least now, in the US?
Well, it might be temporarily, but I suppose in the longer term, that's a lot less certain. If the future of all car making is electric car manufacturing, then you might simply be preventing American car makers from making that journey. And then at some point in the future, they will eventually be exposed to that competitive pressure.
American automakers see the tariff as very important, but whether it's actually good for them, that's arguable. Because it stifles innovation, competition, the US is killing their beloved free and open market, therefore stopping getting what markets are supposed to deliver. That's basic economics, and it's being thrown out the window.
The big story here is the vehicles. People are warning that, any Chinese tech or Chinese car is just a mobile, data collection tool, basically. Maria actually talked to Ohio Senator Bernie Moreno about this. Here's what he said earlier this year about this issue.
These cars have lots of cameras. They send back data to the Communist Party and can be remotely controlled by the Communist Party. Could you imagine letting those vehicles into the U.S.?
There is anywhere, from half a dozen to a dozen cameras on these cars. So whatever's on those cameras is sent back to the CCP?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can imagine somebody working at an Air Force base. They drive in. These things are surveilling the Air Force base. They also know who's driving the vehicle, their habits, where they go, where they come from. We would never allow Americans to purchase surveillance devices from the Communist Party of China.
So if we were to have a conflict with China at any point, are you saying that the Chinese Communist Party can control those cars and have them go crashing into things all day long?
These are connected vehicles, so they could actually take over the driving of the vehicle, lock the doors, roll up the windows, and crash the vehicle into sensitive sites. This is the technology that exists in these Chinese cars. We're just not going to let that into our market.
And China's influence campaign also extending to Hollywood. Critics say that these studios have adjusted their content, their business decisions, because they still want to get access to China. Gordon, your thoughts on these threats?
Yeah, the big issue here is going to be Canada, because Canada has dropped the tariff from 100% to like 6% on 49,000 vehicles this year. And the issue is, are we going to allow those Chinese EVs that are in Canada to roll into the United States? So far, the Trump administration has said yes, but I think the answer should be no, for the reasons that Senator Moreno said. We should not allow those Chinese vehicles into our country. We're going to have the same issue with Mexico, because China is going to be making their cars there and trying to drive them into the United States. Fortunately, the Biden administration and the Trump administrations are working to have worked to prevent connected vehicles from our roads. But we need to take the executive order from the Biden era and turn it into legislation in the Trump era. And that, I think, is a #1 priority of Congress right now.
All of this as the president is expected to host Xi Jinping next month here in this country.
Well, typical of our China expert and Fox News, Chinese EVs can be remotely hijacked by the CCP and be deliberately crash into walls. Now, back in planet Earth, it is true that experts have testified that modern technology devices, not only cars, are sensitive platforms. But conveniently, Gordon doesn't mention that the Cloud Act of 2018 compels American tech companies to surrender data stored anywhere in the world to U.S. law enforcement, regardless of where that data physically resides. Meaning, even if Microsoft store European data in European data centers, U.S. authorities can still legally demand it. Thierry Carrez of Linux Foundation Europe put it bluntly: there's no technical fix if the Trump administration insists on an American company flipping a kill switch on your email or software access. But okay, let's end on a high note. Let's have some fun and watch a short compilation of Gordon Chang being questioned about his infamous "China will collapse" along the years.
Well, you wrote a book in 2001 saying the coming collapse of China. We are still waiting. When is it going to happen?
You'd originally written that, or your original estimate for the collapse of China was by 2011. I know we still have a couple of months, but how accurate do you feel that was? Do you feel it's relatively close?
I think it is very close.
As our next guest says, it's all adding up to an economic crash, which we will see or could see this year. Joining us now, Gordon Chang, author of The Coming Collapse of China. Gordon, I know the people who disagree with you will say you've been saying this for years and years. Eventually you'll be right, but you haven't been right so far. Why now use the word crash? Are we really there?
So, Gordon, you wrote your book back in 2001 calling for the collapse of China. Now, 15 years later, it's still standing. So what do you feel will be different now? What will be that catalyst that you think will bring down the economy? I know you listed many things, but what's really fundamentally changed since when you wrote your book?
The collapse of China, I don't know. I mean, they're on a trajectory right now where if we don't actually assert ourselves, I worry we're going to be looking at an economic collapse, not them.